Hello,
Hello.
Rachel.
Hi.
Hi,
Hi.
it's
Hi.
Mark.
Hi.
I'm really glad to talk to you because I admire you since a long time, maybe since more than 25 years for the
Oh,
Cider House Rules, for example. It's one
thank
of
you.
my all-time favorite films and also scores.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks
Mm.
very much.
I know we
That's lovely
talk
to
also
hear.
about tipping points, but I have to say that I'm really involved with film music and met many composers like Maurice Jarre was a close friend of mine, also Ennio Morricone.
Oh,
I was at
really?
his house in Rome, and
Oh,
yeah, so I have many questions.
oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. So, gosh, I've just been recording in Rome actually, with many of the same players that Morricone used on his
Oh,
scores, which is great.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, super. So, and I just introduced myself. I'm Mark Harapetian. I'm a founder and publisher of my own film and music magazine since my 16th living year, Spirit, A Smile in the Storm. I was Germany's youngest publisher. The magazine is still existing until now. Print
Amazing.
copies and also online, of course. And then I work for newspapers like Frankfurter Rundschau and other publications. Just
Okay.
to let you know.
Okay.
And great that it works. And where are you now? In London or where are you?
No, I'm not. I'm about 50 miles southwest of London. I go between London and here, but this
Yeah.
is a farm. I'm in the countryside.
Oh wow, cool.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I live in Berlin, but I sit now in Hanover beside my mom. And happy International Women's Day also to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Great. So when I named also Ennio Morricone, I think you have the same situation like him. Everybody loves your soundtracks, but many people don't recognize your other kind of music. Yeah, for Ennio, it was his chamber music. He was really happy when we talked also about it. Now you can change it again and again with your new album, Tipping Points.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. No, we don't need, I mean, always, it's always the way that, composers get known for one thing and maybe they like to do other things as well, which I do. And, it's a long time I've been writing concert music now. And I still divide my time between film music and music for the concert hall. And I like to do both. Um, uh, and it means that by doing concert music, I don't know what else to call it, classical music, whatever it is, but non-film music, it's a way that I can write about the environment, which is what I like to do, environmental issues, and
yeah.
so I do quite a bit of that. Yeah. So it's good.
Especially now in tipping points, because for me it's a rhythmic hymn of nature. Can we name it so? Is it or
Yeah,
not?
I guess it is. It is a hymn to nature, most definitely. Have you heard it?
Of course, I was also in the concert last week in Hanover and met
Great.
Niklas, who was my girlfriend, and he was very happy about the cooperation with you and talked a lot. And I come out next time to Berlin. When I come back to Berlin, I will see and listen the
Oh,
second time to
oh,
it.
will
And
you catch it again? What
yeah.
did you think of it?
Yeah, I like it a lot, especially for me. It touched me, and as I said, also it's my thinking. It's a hymn to nature, and also also for me it has a rhythmic structure, and this is what I wanted to ask. Yeah, also with the violins, it's very rhythmic. Yeah, um, why you use this rhythmic style? Also, I like it a lot. It's very atmospheric music. Also, it's like. Film music without a film for me, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, well,
Film is
you
in my
know,
mind.
yeah. Well, I mean, I, I guess that's what I do. I write music that tells stories,
Yeah.
or if not tells stories, evokes images,
Hmm.
because that's what I've always done, and it's what I like to do. I like to write music that is expressing something particular, as opposed to, well, just I don't know. I think it I'm always expressing something, and I suppose after all these years of working in film, I can't help it to make music that, because many people have said that to me who've heard tipping points. They say that they feel that they're in images,
Hmm.
and um, the music is inspired by, obviously, images that are in my mind, but also with tipping points with the poems, which are descriptive of images. So I mean, the whole thing all comes together, but they're very much the poems are a springboard for a response each time in tipping points, and sometimes the music is capturing an aspect, for example, of water, and in that movement, I was very much thinking about the magic that happens when there's a gentle rainfall and what happens to the earth, which becomes greener, and all of that sort of blossoming that happens, whereas in fire, I'm not talking about lovely cozy fires. I mean, fire is apocalyptic, and I felt that in one of the movements, at least of tipping points, I had to go to what to the really dark, to really engage people in the difficulty that we face at the moment, and the first piece, which is the invocation, is very, very rhythmic. Yes. And that is actually the way I see it and the way I wrote it is about an urgency and a worry. And it's always leaning forward into we've got to do something about this. And so it's a sort of kind of, it's a sort of kind of an invocation to invite people to listen and think about what's going to follow. But it doesn't ever rest or become comfortable.
Yeah, it's also my favorite piece of the parts of Tipping Points, the first.
Was it really? Okay.
Yeah, also because of this rhythmic structure. I love rhythmic structures also in concert musics.
Interesting.
Music, not just in dance music. So this was really capturing me. And also, I forgot there was also a wonderful German narrator, an actor who was reading the poems on stage. Also, this was also very, very nice in the evening.
I mean, I haven't seen it with a live actor doing it. I've only seen it with a recorded voice, which is also very powerful, actually, because there's nothing to do but listen. What you have Nicholas standing there, you have the conductor and the orchestra, they're all looking down, and this recorded voice speaks the poems, and the audience are in they're not in a visual world at all, they're in an auditory world. So they really focus on those short poems, and then very quickly, it's the same format otherwise, but it works very powerfully like that as well.
It worked also for us as an audience.
I'm so glad I'm so glad Nicholas is doing it with a live actor. It obviously really works.
Yeah, he seemed to be really happy about the cooperation with you. Talked along with me and want also to meet me in Berlin for a coffee before the next
concert. Well, Nicholas did.
Yeah.
Oh, did he?
Beautiful pictures together, and so yeah, this was really, my girlfriend made the pictures of us. This was really nice. So I just wanted to ask, you knew him from before, or how did this?
No. I mean, honestly, we've just been together, and it was just this Tipping Points was just performed in Sweden with Norland's Opera, and I went, and Nicholas was obviously there. And we were just talking afterwards about, how it came together. Because it was so lucky, because he was looking to commission through VDR a piece, and he wanted to do something about the environment and about, in particular. And I don't know how he came across me, but he came across my music and decided to write to me to say, would you be interested? And I said, absolutely, completely. And so, without knowing each other at all, we started conversations about it. And then I was thinking, well, how can he play a piece of music that people will understand and really relate to? how can they understand it's about the environment? How can we make people's focus not just abstract focus on the environment, but actually really think about it, which was, so I said, I think we need some kind of some poetry to go with it. And I suggested Nick Drake, who's a poet I've worked with before, who I work very well with because I know his words. We've worked together a few times, and he's an extraordinary poet. And Nicholas thought that would be cool, good idea. But I never wanted to have, you see, we could have gone down a different route, which would have been for me to write a piece and have visual images. But I didn't want to do that because then the audience is going to find that the visual images are what their focus is on instead of the music and instead of what's really happening, because visual is what we're bombarded with all the time in our world. And actually, I didn't want that. I wanted the focus to be on the way that the music and Nicholas and the orchestra are communicating to the audience. I wanted the focus to be on that, which is making people listen and engage. And I think and so that's how this came about. And then there was also like, well, how are you going to have the poems? How's it going to be? How's that going to work? But it kind of works. It works, and it makes it's very simple, and it makes it into a slightly unusual experience for the audience, I think, which is something you don't see every day.
So do you think art can change the world in small ways?
Well, it's all I have to give. It's all I have to give, really. If I think about it, that's why I'm here. So I think so. I hope so. Yeah, I think it can. It was really interesting performing, having it in the north of Sweden we were. And people up there, they are defined by their environment and where they live and what's happening. And it's much warmer than it should be, and I noticed that the whole audience was sitting bolt upright. It was packed. They were all sitting forward and really, really listening because it matters to them. But their environment matters so much. Where I think it's harder is London, Berlin, where people are so, in some ways protected from, the extreme effects of climate change.
Yeah. This is an important topic.
Yeah.
Some people still ignore it. Also, some politics here in Germany, I have to say, but the media, we often write about it, and so this is really the world is changing. Also the environment, of course. Maybe it's a revenge of the environment what we did
to it. I know, absolutely. I'm sure it is. Yeah.
With the H-bomb or cosmetics, and so came into the air and destroyed everything. So maybe it's really the change. Also the sea, it's warmer now. Many fish die. So
I know.
all. I must not.
I do know. Yeah.
But I think it's also then for that reason it's also important tipping points. That you name it in the music, and that people maybe recognize and feel it. And also with this really talented violinist, it was really wonderful on stage, I have to say.
He's passionate, and his performance is so beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. And also interesting, this combination on the Sony Music album. He played also one part of the summer of Vivaldi, in this new version, in this new style, more for a concert style. This was also bombastic. I love it. So,
oh, good. I didn't hear that. I don't know how that sounds. I'm looking forward to hearing it.
Yeah, you really must listen to it. I would be curious what's your opinion about it, but it's really dynamic, and there's also the people who are really crazy for it.
Good. I'm glad. Good. I'm glad.
When you compose on the classical piano, because you never use or super seldom you use a synthesizer, right?
I write at the piano, and I don't have any keyboards or
Mhm.
I don't work in non-live music at all. But I mean, I often collaborate. Well, I don't. When I say I don't collaborate, I often write. So I don't know. I never know what to call it. But synthesizer for synthesizers, I often write for non-analog instruments. But when I do, I just work with a programmer.
Mhm. But in your soundtracks, I don't remember synthesizer or
Oh well, no, there is quite a
correct
bit,
me.
but not much. I mean, it's never the main focus.
Mhm.
I'm sorry about the noise. Is it very noisy? There's a.
No, it's good. Here,
Are you sure? Okay, good. Because I
yes,
live on a farm and it is a bit noisy.
I just hear you now.
Okay, good. Fine.
Should
Okay,
be.
good. Good. Okay, great.
And also a score I really love, and especially I love also the film because I'm dog lover, is The Dogs Propose.
Oh yes.
I have the Siberian Wolf Dog Husky. It's really a rare mix between wolf and dog, very beautiful, of course. And I wrote also a review about the film and about the score. So when you did this soundtrack, because it's all about dogs in this film, you know, by yourself. You had some ideas to how to create music for dog, or from the point of view of a dog. How was it to create the soundtrack? I'm really interested in it. Maybe you have a good memory.
Well, no, I do. I don't think I thought about dogs, but I don't think it's dog music. I think I was treating it like any story, in
Okay.
that it's well. I mean, the dog was a human dog to me because it has a voice, you know. So
Yeah, in this film, yeah.
I'm telling the dog's story from an emotional point of view.
Yeah.
You know, whichever way. I mean, I love dogs too, and you know, I love the whole story of a dog's purpose and what this dog is trying to figure out.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I never thought about it like that. I never thought, how does one write music for a dog? Anyway, I had to write music for 4 dogs because the dog keeps coming back as a different dog.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I had to approach the film like 4 different stories, which then come back to the old dog at the end when it's the same dog. So it wouldn't. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry to disappoint you. I can't think about.
No, just.
I think I approached it like I approach every film I do, which is, you know, what feels right, and then I don't really, without thinking about it, the music comes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You worked also with Lasse Hallström, right? And he did also a wonderful film about dogs with Richard Gere. Did also an interview with Richard in that time. It was Hachi, A Dog's Tale. That's also one of my favorite films. Have you ever seen this film?
No, did you ever see My Life as a Dog?
My Life as a Dog? Yes, of course. Yeah.
Did you see that? That was Lasse Hallström's one of his first films
Yeah,
in
of
Swedish.
course. I know. A Swedish film, I know. Wonderful.
He's obviously he loves dogs.
Made him famous, also international famous.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No.
So he seems to be also connected with dogs. I think so.
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
I just talked to Richard. Richard is a very nice man, and my dog was also with me and him in the interview.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. And have you ever been on set for inspiration when writing film music, or never?
Yes, I mean, occasionally. I mean, often there isn't time. Often, I mean, sometimes I'm not engaged on a film until much later in the process. So, yeah, but you know, for instance, when I worked with Jonathan Demme, I did 3 films with him, and he always asked me to come on the set. I was on the set for about a week when we were doing Beloved. Wow. And you know, he wanted me to start writing, you know, as they were filming, and some directors really like that, you know. And I went on the set with Robert Redford for Bag of Ants.
I know.
Bag of Ants.
Yeah, I know the film, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes, you know, I mean, it's great, but often the shooting happens way before I get involved, and so I feel quite removed actually from it. I'm not sure. I mean, it's very nice to start early on a project like that, but it doesn't matter if you don't. if there isn't the chance.
And is it sometimes also different, like Ennio did for Once Upon a Time in the West, also Una c'era volta i West, that he composed parts of the music before, and then Sergio Leone played it on set to motivate.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, that happened with Jonathan Demme. I mean, he played stuff that I'd done on the set.
Great. Wow.
Yeah, a bit. I'm not sure it was quite as iconic as Sergio Leone. You know, there wasn't like a main theme like that, but no, he definitely did that. It's great to do that. And, you know, occasionally, one of the characters needs to has a song that they sing or something like that that is part of who they are, and that's always very nice, because then I get to feel a part of the film while they're filming, and you get to meet the actors, which is great. It's nice.
And you're also connected to Italy because your husband is Italian, right?
Yeah, my first husband.
First husband.
Yeah. No, it's fine. I'm not with him anymore. That's right. Yeah, I've just worked with him on a film. I've just finished a film with him, and
really?
that's the one that we were working in Rome, on with recording in Rome with a lot of the same players.
Wow! And he is his nephew or a grandnephew of Visconti, right?
He is. Yeah, that's right. It's great. I know exactly. I know. He's a great nephew, is what he is.
Yeah, great nephew. Yeah.
So.
Here in Germany, you are super famous for Chocolat, for this soundtrack, you know, and it's also really unique and special soundtrack. I met also Juliette. We talked about she loves the music, for example. Yeah, Juliette.
Yeah, she does. She does like it, actually. Yeah.
A lot, really. Not kidding.
Good. Oh, so, good. I'm glad. She's just she was in she's acting in the film I've just finished that we recorded in Rome. And yes, so it's a small world.
All good things come together now.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Wonderful. So is this also a very special soundtrack for you in your lifeline as a composer, or you have another favorite soundtrack of your life where you say this is really good from my own works, and maybe give a short reason why you love this soundtrack so much?
What, for Chocolat? Well, Chocolat, I don't know. It just it happened. I wrote it in a very short time. I had just less than a month to do the whole thing, and it just worked. I loved the film. I understood the film immediately, and I just wrote, and it worked. And you know, the music is full of it has its own quite strong character, and I was given lots of freedom to sort of express myself, and so, you know, and also one of the things I love is that film has stood the test of time. It's still, people love that film. It's like a fable. I mean, it is a fable, really. And it's not you know, and it's and so for all those reasons, you know, I think it makes me happy that people love the music for it, and therefore I value that music, you know, more than perhaps I would have. You know, sometimes I worked on a film called Never Let Me Go, and I loved writing the music for that, and it was so important to me. And the film is a dark, difficult film. It's a brilliant film, but not many people saw it because it's not a sort of like a feel-good film. But curiously, a lot of people write to me about the music on that. But of course, it's not like Chocolat, which people just love the film as well. So it's, you know, I have different connections to films I've done in the past, and scores that I think, oh, you know, that, you know, I loved working on that. I really liked the music I did for that. And then other ones that obviously, you know, maybe I didn't have such a strong connection to the story, and so I wrote them, but they weren't they weren't my all-time favorites. So it's a mixture. And
how do you decide when you get the script to to make the film music for it. There are also sometimes films you say, no, it's not my cup of tea.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. No, definitely. Yeah. And sometimes, I mean, very occasionally you get it wrong. You think, oh no, I'm going to really want to do this, and from the script, and then you see the film and you think, oh gosh, this is going to be harder than I thought, only because it's not for me or it's whatever. But I try very carefully to choose things that that I'm going to enjoy, and or that I'm going to feel connected to. Yeah.
And what are your influences in film music? You have some all-time favorite film composers that influence you, or not?
I don't know, not really. I don't think so. I haven't studied film music ever, so I was never I was more, if anything, influenced by classical music, and I really sort of made up my own path and sort of learned as I went along from early in my 20s. And so everything is very instinctive. So I'm not sure, I'm not sure. I remember someone saying to me when I first, when I was beginning to do films like Benny and June, sort of my late 20s, they said, oh, your musical voice is really like Nino Rota. And I said, really? I don't know who he is, or whatever. And I think it's partly because I write melody. I write in a very melodic way.
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
naturally, that's what I do. And so I think that's why. But I never sort of, I don't have composers that I think are great. I have, I think that individual scores by people, like John Williams' score for Schindler's List, I think is brilliant. There are individual scores and that I think are fantastic, but no, I haven't really sort of studied or found myself influenced by others, I don't think.
Yeah, I have also all-time favorite scores. For example, Ennio Morricone's The Sicilian Clan, Il Clan di Siciliani. This is
I don't know that. I don't know it.
For me the best soundtrack. Maybe when I marry, this will be my my music for.
Oh, great, fantastic.
This is really super. I like it more than I love also this Italo-Western scores, but this Sicilian Clan, this is a film with Alain Delon, Jean Gabin, and Lino Ventura. It's a crime story. It's really amazing. And I'm half Armenian, half German, and we Armenian, our nation, we have many in common with the Italian music because of this elegy, but also lust for life, and so all come together. And this is why I love it so much.
Good. Yeah. How lovely. Well, I hope you have that at your wedding when you get married.
Thank you so much. Yeah, was it not? I think it's not always. Now you are famous as a female film composer, and you are also the first woman who won Oscar as a film composer. Yeah, for Emma.
Yep.
Was it not always so easy to be a female film composer in this men's world? Also, I think maybe when you started, it was difficult or not. Please tell me.
It never was difficult for me. I never, it didn't. I think I just paid no attention to it. I think I don't really understand why. That I had no awareness really. I think it helped. I went to boys' school, and so I was completely used to, competing with boys, and that was natural. So it didn't bother me, and so I think that led to me having no awareness of being the only, which it seemed like the only woman doing it, or very few. And I knew it was unusual, but it didn't bother me. And so I've been very lucky that, and I'm sure there are all sorts of times that I have been, I don't know, I haven't, without my knowledge, I haven't got a job because I'm a woman. But frankly, I've got just as many jobs as I want, and I'm doing all the things I want to do. So I can't say that I, and I'm not aware of it. So I've never suffered ever. But when I say that, I know that it's very true for a lot of women, and very, very true for a lot of female composers now, that there's a sort of perception still that, we'll give women the small films, but
Mm.
maybe not the big films.
Mhm.
It's beginning to change, but it's really slow, and that really needs to change.
Mm.
And yeah, so and it's there. It's definitely there, and I've seen it, but I just don't feel for myself in my own career. I don't feel shortchanged or hard done by, or it's fine as far as I'm concerned. So it's good.
So
Listen, I have to go in a minute because I got another thing.
of course, we
Is
talk
there
on.
anything you wanted to ask that we haven't covered?
Maybe just because I have in my magazine, Spirit, a Smile in the Storm, a poll where I ask about all-time favorite films. Can you name me now spontaneously maybe one or two of your all-time favorite films with a short reason?
Oh God, I find that really hard. One or two. To Kill a Mockingbird.
Oh, super. I met also Gregory Peck. He was Armenian, half Armenian like me.
Really?
Many people do not know it, but he was proud
Really?
of his Armenian roots. I love also this film and the music of Elmer Bernstein.
It's wonderful. It's absolutely. I love the score. Also, I love. I love the kids and the innocence in that. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you, Rachel, a lot.
Thank you. Lovely to speak to you. Very nice to meet you.
Yeah, very nice to meet you. And as you know, I want to also use it for my magazine, this video. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Then the print version comes to Frankfurter Rundschau, to the newspaper. Yeah, and I sent all to Anne from Sony Music. Right.
Okay. Perfect. That sounds great. All right. Well,
thank you. All the best for you. Yeah, and
you too. You too. Lovely.
I hope to meet you one day in person in the same room.
That would be great. Thank you, Mark. Okay.
Yeah. Bye-bye,
All right.
Rachel.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.